So Jen, I'm dying to hear about your
Oh gosh.
gig.
Okay, so basically, um, basically, I got a. So they don't give you much details about this. So, I got accepted for like a modeling gig in Denver.
Wait, wait, wait. They don't give you much details.
No, honestly. So basically, they give you. So I have the name of the company, the project name, and then just basically kind of a vague description of what they'll be doing.
So the name of the company. What's the name of the company?
Okay, let me pull it up. Give me a sec. It's called Haley Studios. Look it up, Jose. Look it up on the screen there. Haley Studios. Basically, they send me a little blurb, and it goes, okay, so Haley Studios, the product is Mutha. The call time is to be determined. It's in the
The
specific
project's called what?
Mutha, Mutha.
Okay.
That's what it's called. It says, oh no, no, it says that's the one I've been selected for. Hold on. Okay. Haley Studios is looking for a model for a skincare brand on March 4th. This will be an all day shoot. And then just some more details about, if if you have a breakout, don't accept this job. If you don't have clear skin, don't accept the job. They give you the rate. So this one is $1,000 an hour.
The website here.
No. Is it? Okay, keep going down. I don't think that's the one I saw earlier. Go back.
Oh, that's fine.
Go back. I think there's another one. Right, the one right below it. Yeah. So basically, it's a brand image company. So go down.
Brand image.
So highly curated, eye-catching visuals. Basically, I think they take really cool photos.
Okay, so they're a studio, but you don't know who they're going to be taking a shoot for.
No.
Like it could be for Starbucks. It could be
Yeah.
for like.
So actually,
No.
if you go to Joseph, if you go down, it says they've taken photos in Vanity Fair, Forbes, Vogue,
Oh,
Bazaar.
wow.
So
Oh, that's
big.
cool. Okay, so it's a studio.
It's
The
a
modeling
studio.
agency is gonna like sell you to the studio.
Sell me the studio, which they already did. I got a top pick. Like I just had to take a selfie, and we'll see if it's finalized. So basically, I have no idea what I'm doing. That's all the information
Yeah.
they gave me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
don't tell you very much.
So it depends on the brand. If it's like a Starbucks one, they'll tell you the details.
You'll
But this
obviously-
one is Haley Studio. Clearly, they just do really cool photos, and they'll send it.
They're a studio.
They're a
and
studio.
they're hiring a model.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you'll find out probably when you're there what it's for.
Or no, maybe once I finalize tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. She said she'll finalize my photo. If I get picked,
If
finally,
you get picked, you'll find
then
out,
she'll
yeah.
probably send me some details. I would
Yeah.
hope. I mean, I'm new to all this, so
Yeah, at
we'll
some
see.
point. At some point. you'll
Yeah,
find
at some
out.
point I'll get more details. But
Interesting.
yeah, that's how it works. So I'm excited. I told her it's my first job, so this would be really cool.
You've done jobs before though.
I've done like a couple, yeah, here and there.
Didn't you do
in
the
Toronto.
commercial
I-
for
Oh, I did.
for the tampons?
Yeah, I did do a tampon commercial. So it was just really random. I wasn't. What'd you say?
That's nasty.
No, so basically, I was on a basketball team, and this was not even associated to modeling. And Kotex reached out to our team and said, "We're doing an audition, and we want to do like a basketball scene to promote, like girls using these tampons while they're on the court.
Sports,
and
like,
sports,
yeah.
So basically, we did a whole audition process. Like the whole team, you have to go in front of like these judges, whatever, and they're gonna like look at you play basketball, and we go through a couple auditions, and then me and my girl Maya made it to the final round, and they selected us. And
Maya was in the commercial too.
not I don't know which Maya you're thinking of. It's
Maya
not-
was like that
not
girl.
Maya
She was
Allen.
like a beast. Like she would just like be like a bowling ball, just
No,
running.
no,
through
no,
the
no.
lanes. Yeah.
That's Maya Allen. That's a
Maybe
Cougars.
we
There's a
probably
new
shouldn't drop like names, like the full names, but like
Maybe
what,
not. We'll see. We'll see. So my girl Maya, and basically, it was a really cool experience. So we got to this gym, and the lighting and everything, like basically they use fake lighting for everything. So from the outside of the building, they shined lights in through the outside because there's little windows so that could portray like like it's daytime when it was really like not that bright outside. And we had to take multiple takes, and so that's kind of
It did go limp in the middle of the shoot. I remember I was like, it's gonna go limp in the middle of the shoot.
The camera
Like, you never
just,
want to go limp in the middle of the shoot.
No,
Yeah.
No,
So
you guys keep going. I'll take a look at it.
yeah,
No, we can pause for a minute. We can
can
just
pause
jump
and-
back in.
jump
No
back in.
edits.
Yeah.
No edits. Well, you can cut out like a.
So yeah, I was talking about the basketball Kotex commercial. It was pretty cool. You had to do like makeup and wardrobe. You went into these this little like trailer and they did your makeup and then yeah, it was just like
So you did that. You were going like so. You weren't really trying to be a model at that time. They just kind of looked for people.
no, that
Yeah.
was random luck with a basketball team, and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. So that worked out. I did another show with an actual modeling agency. I was with a small agency in Toronto
Yeah.
for a couple months in the summer actually, and I got a Redken gig. Redken is hair products.
Yeah.
So basically that was like a real experience. So we had like a whole backstage experience. You had to like practice walking the runway because they put this huge hair piece on me, literally a metal hook into my hair and hung like a 4-foot ponytail from the back of my head. And it was just made of like bedazzled jewels and stuff. And
Yeah.
basically I had to wear that with 4-inch heels and walk down the runway. So that was actually pretty hard. You had to
Was it
balance
like an
yourself.
actual runway show with actual
Yes.
crowd in front of it?
So the crowd was full. I think I have a weird video from like a long time ago, but yeah, you walked and it was honestly an amazing feeling. Like I thought I would be nervous, but I wasn't. I was like, wow, like these people are just looking at me. I don't know. It was a really cool experience. You get to the end, you do your little pose and then you walk back and it's kind of like an empowering feeling, I guess.
So it's like a high.
It's a high. It's definitely a high. And I think I would say for if you're feeling yourself and you're confident, because I don't want to know what it feels like to be really nervous in doing that, right? I feel like that's terrifying.
I think once you get out there and you start walking and people are like clapping and cheering, like it goes away, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like the nervousness is
Yeah.
only before. It's like skydiving, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But once you're out, then it's like, oh,
Weirdly, for skydiving, I felt zero nerves. It was the weirdest experience out of my life. Like I was hanging out of the plane and literally about
No
to jump,
nerves?
and I looked down and I'm like, I literally thought to myself, I was like, why don't I feel anything? I was like, is something wrong with me? I don't know. It was weird.
Something's wrong with
But
you.
it was great.
Yeah, something's wrong with you.
Something's wrong with me.
No, I just can't. I would not be able to.
You can't do the skydiving?
I've thought about it. I really think I would like to, because obviously I don't think of myself as somebody who says no very
Yeah.
often to certain things.
Yeah.
But I've just discovered recently that I really do have like a fear of heights. You know,
Really? A fear of heights in general?
yeah, so I didn't know I had a fear of heights at all, and then in 2020, Jen and I went to Calgary, and we went to Lake Louise, and we climbed up a mountain, got right up to the edge, and that was the first time I ever felt some sort of fear, just like a completely irrational like anxiety. And at that time, I wasn't dealing with anxiety at all. Like, I only got like, I don't know if it's generalized or just like anxiety in general. Like, in the past like 3 years, 2021, 2022. You know, definitely after COVID. But if I could remember a period of time where I felt anxiety like that, the first time was when I was in the looking down that mountain into that lake and just not feeling anything that can hold me back.
You were
like
on
if I'm on, we were both on foot, and the cliff is right there, and so for me, if I'm at a skyscraper and balcony, and I'm looking straight down, I don't feel anything because I can feel that the railing is holding me back.
Yeah.
But I feel like the second that there's nothing there, that for me is just that's it.
That's how a fear of heights works typically. Yeah, you can be standing at the railing, you feel safe, but as soon as the railing's not there, your brain knows danger, and you're like, oh, danger.
So that's how I feel about skydiving. I feel like I just
But
couldn't.
there's no danger because like we have a parachute.
There is danger because you could. I mean, there's a lot of things. Recently, so we just went skiing, right? And there's this really, I don't know. Again, like these things just come up out of nowhere for me. And we were going up, and it was just really Yeah, in the chairlift, and it was just really high. And for some reason, I was also really hungover, so I think maybe that the Sunday scaries got me too. But I could feel it. I was like uncomfortable. It wasn't crazy. And then by the fifth, sixth time I did it, it was like nothing's going on.
The chairlift.
The chairlift.
Huh.
So it's weird how my mind reacts to that kind of situation.
Yeah.
But skydiving, I don't know. I feel like I would need to have like a couple drinks in me to maybe say yes, but I don't think that's allowed.
Well, you probably could. I mean, we can find some rednecks down in like Florida. I'm sure they'll take you up.
Yeah, I think the whole point too of something like skydiving is I'd say majority of the population is afraid of it. The point is to do it because you're afraid. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like I was totally nervous when I did it, but I knew I wanted to do it, and like I don't care. I just suppress those feelings. Like I just ignore them and just do it anyway. And it was like when I was going up on the plane, like as we're like climbing to altitude, I'm like, holy fuck! There's only one way down.
Yeah.
Like I think the pilot even had a parachute on his back, and I was like, why the fuck does he have a parachute on his back? Like, what the fuck's going on here? The plane was like some rickety ass plane, you know. And we get up there and they hook you up and like you're getting closer and closer. The anticipation's building. It's terrifying, but I kind of love that terror. Like I want to be scared.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of you're just a psychopath.
I'm a psychopath because I'm telling you, Zane, we went there and it was my first time and I literally can remember talking to myself in my head saying, Jenna, why don't you feel anything? Whoa, this is just a cool ass fucking view. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm like, wow. But yeah, the thing I was the most scared about was like I love roller coasters, but it's that tickle gut feeling you get where like your stomach drops. I don't really like that feeling.
That's the feeling when you first jump out of the plane, though.
Yeah.
For about 5 seconds or 3 seconds.
That's what you feel.
And then after that, you hit terminal velocity, they say. You're not accelerating anymore, and you just feel like you're flying like Superman.
So that was the best part of me for it. I was like, the fact that only lasted like 3 seconds, I was like, oh, this is the best. Like, why not do this more? Like, if I just don't, you know.
No, it's great.
Like recently, we were on a flight, and I've never had this ever. And I just looked out of the window and something just got into me.
Oh no, don't tell me you're turning into Adam.
I don't know. Like
you can't be
never,
afraid of planes, bro.
No. So I don't know what happened. First of all,
you're supposed to be a passport, bro.
Yeah. I don't know if Jenna would agree with that. No, but seriously, like I never felt something like that. I would always look out the window, no problem. Just something clicked. Like I feel like your mind makes certain connections where there's certain pathways that just kind of like trigger or maybe
you just gotta shut that door, bro.
Twitch.
Shut that door.
No, 100%. Yeah, I try my best. I try my best to shut it down, to try to focus on different things. To present myself is what they say to try to cope with those anxieties. And again, like it was weird because I understand if I'm like boozing hard, if I'm not having a good diet, if I'm not going to the gym, those things will happen to me more regularly, right? But that case specifically, I was still on the carnivore diet. I just had the best month of like in terms of my anxiety and controlling it. Gym, everything was pretty regular. And I got on this flight, no problems. I get on the plane. I just happen to look outside the window at one point and it just hits me. And that's one of those things like I don't understand what triggers it. And is really interesting about the human brain and psychology. I have those situations. I can go weeks without any specific thing happening to me, and it just gets me. I mean,
it's unexplainable.
And again, ever since COVID, ever since something just clicked, and I feel like a lot of people can resonate with that. Something clicked for me. I never had anxiety except when I was like smoking a lot of weed, and I'd get like I'd get really anxious.
A bad trip or whatever.
Yeah, bad trip. But mushrooms, all that shit. Like, I would have no problems. I'd get anxious. I'd do have crazy shit.
Hashtag no edits.
Hashtag no edits. But it never really hit me until recently. Something just clicked during COVID. And it's just like a journey that I'm on, really, like trying to understand my body, trying to understand my brain, the chemistry, what works, what doesn't, and trying to control those like situations or like outbreaks, you'd be able to call them.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely challenging. I mean, anxiety is something that we haven't solved, as a society. So
Seems like it's just getting worse or more recognized, I'd say. I don't know, but
one or
like
the other. Yeah.
one or the other. But no, I'm just curious as well if anyone out there has had a similar experience after COVID. I've heard of a couple
I'm sure.
a couple guys who's just randomly developed anxiety.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of
And it's
people
just
have
like
mental illness from COVID. Like, imagine you were like 15 years old in like 2020, and like you lived like 15, 16, 17, like these like peak
Yeah.
like developmental years of your life, like locked inside your house. Like that's gonna
know.
fuck you up.
It's a hate for I understand that age 100%, but for some reason for me, like, and I don't know if people can relate, but weirdly, I feel like I came out with a positive from the entire experience. Like for me, it was like I got to sit with myself and be alone and actually kind of like be like, oh, this is kind of cool. Whereas like before, like I never used to like being alone. I hated being by myself. I was like, I always needed to do stuff. I had like FOMO or whatever they call it, fear of missing out.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you don't have FOMO while you're like everyone's locked inside, so there's no FOMO. Like, yeah, you're right because you were just coming out of your young phase.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, all the partying, all the going out, all the FOMO, this and that, and then like, oh, all of a sudden no one's doing that anymore, and I can just be myself. The timing worked well for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I guess it totally depends on the age. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like everybody can agree that the first 2 weeks were fucking awesome. I mean, I honestly, I was working my ass off. I had school. I had a bunch of shit going on, and just to be able to feel like you were in middle school again, like you were in summer middle school where you have absolutely no responsibilities. You can play video games all day. I was eating whatever the hell I wanted because again, I just thought it was going to be 2 weeks.
Didn't you do that in high school too? Oh, you probably had jobs.
No, I had jobs. I mean,
I did too. I had jobs too, but yeah.
No, in high school there were still responsibilities. I feel like even summer in high school, that's probably when I worked the most. So for me, just being able to those first 2 weeks, even like I could kind of admit that maybe even the first 2 months, especially being in Canada when you're getting that $2,000 a month, like I was honestly loving it. Like I was really enjoying it. I was just playing Call of Duty.
Is that how much money they were giving everyone?
I was getting $2,000 a month. Yeah.
Oh,
Plus,
fuck.
I think I was getting some other benefits that like boosted me up to maybe, again, for not doing anything at all. I was making way more money in the restaurants, but for doing absolutely nothing at all and spending nothing at all.
Yeah.
Right. So I really had a good time. I built like. I was just geeking out on a bunch of shit. I watched so many shows: The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Westworld, like everything on HBO. I was just binging and just playing Minecraft at the same time. And I literally, it was crazy. I mean, it was a time to be alive.
Very different experience than me because like I was just trying to figure out how to keep a business running through this shit. Like I was like, for me, it was like survival mode. Like and also like save your family from the plague. So like those two things in combination, like that's all I was doing all day. So like I wasn't chilling.
No, it's just I actually think everyone's experience was completely unique. Like clearly Jose and then you and yeah, like I thought Zane had some good moments during the pandemic for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like apocalypse, world is ending.
Oh, I took it very. I was just like, I don't know where this is gonna go. It seems like the plague. I don't trust the government. Fuck them. Like, I just need to, protect my family and like survive. Like, I literally had plans to like move everyone to a private island, and like, I bought a fucking $40,000 amphibious vehicle to get us there, and like stocked up on like literally tens of thousands of dollars of fucking food. I literally bought an armory of guns. Like, I was ready to protect like from what's that show, The Walking Dead or something.
Yeah.
Like, I was 100% getting ready for that shit. Like dead ass.
It was hilarious being around this while it was happening. Like
You guys were like, Zane,
I'm
crazy?
like, Zane, are you okay? And then I walk in the garage. There's like 50 containers full of like food and like gear for surviving. I'm like, what's going on? Have you watched too many TV shows?
No, I mean, look, we don't know where it was going to go. Like, they were saying it was going to kill 10% of the population or some shit like that. Like, that's what they were saying.
There's some saying
No, Dad, like, that's exactly what they were saying.
It's true.
Based on that, that is an appropriate reaction, okay? You guys were fucking sleeping. You guys were going to die, all right? So I wasn't going to fucking die, and I was going to save you too. But like, what the fuck?
That's
Like,
why. That's why we need somebody like Zane in our life, and just because honestly, and even now, like there's some serious situations or shit you see on Twitter or like a lot of the stupid conspiracy theorists, saying that the grid is going to go down and this and that, and you know what, like it doesn't hurt to be prepared. It doesn't hurt to think about those scenarios. And I always tell Jenna, we should have more guns, we should have more shit.
you only need a
I was
couple,
just looking.
but, like,
No, you need some serious shit. I mean, you like probably like an AR. You need some shotguns because she doesn't know how to shoot. And you do need food. Food is
Yeah.
like by the. I was watching this video where I don't know if it was a TikTok or Instagram. I saw people like with some serious pantries full of food.
Oh yeah, there's preppers out there, but
yeah,
like,
some
but dude,
preppers.
it's a balance. Life's a balance, right? Like, I don't want to live my day-to-day life being afraid that the world's gonna end or being afraid that I'm gonna get killed. Like, I don't carry a gun with me. I really don't prepare for anything. But like, this pandemic came out, we had notice. Like, China, it was breaking out in China. It was happening day by day. We could see it unfolding. And then all of a sudden they start going to lockdowns. People are dying in Italy. 10% death rate, 20% death rate. The world's going to fucking end. Like, then I was like, okay, I'll take action. But on a day-to-day basis, honestly, I really don't like to live that way. That's no way to live. Like, to live to be in fear. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you really think about it, there might be some reason to take some precautions.
You just be prepared. I would say.
But
Just
how
be
prepared? Like, there's a difference between being prepared and still living your life, or being in fear every day. Like, those people that are preppers, a lot of them are living their life in fear every day. And I feel like that's just not a way to live.
No, it's obvious that some people take it too seriously, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have, a garage full of,
Couple things.
definitely water, unperishable or.
Yeah, some like freeze dried food or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have all that stuff and just be, because I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just too involved in Twitter and just seeing all these freaking idiots.
I would throw like 30, 60, 90 days of food in there, a couple guns, a couple things of water. Have a plan of some kind of
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just have a plan.
Just the basics.
I mean,
but like
it only took the pandemic to really teach us that.
But it's Murphy's
really
Law, right? What's going to happen is you're going to prepare, you're going to fill your garage up with this shit, and then the shit's going to go down while you're traveling in France. Like, you're going to be on a vacation in France, and the world's going to end. You're like, fuck all that shit. Like, I never got to use it.
I feel like if there's
at least I can have a croissant.
If there's a place to go down, Europe isn't bad because nobody's fucking prepared. Nobody has guns. Nobody has anything. I feel like there's a lot of places you could just go to. In the U.S., obviously, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of, but there's also a lot of people, and there's a lot of armed people, militias. There's preppers out there.
You have been spending too much time on Twitter.
Maybe, probably.
There's militias. There's armed people.
They are. They're ready. They're ready for the shit to go down. And there's people who are probably excited for it to go down. Like, they really anarchists. They really want it to go down. They want to be able to run their own shit. Like create their own governments, like The Walking Dead kind of shit, where people thrive off of being powerful in a society that was woefully unprepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
It's this is all reminding me of like, we left on Friday night.
Actually, I have a friend kind of like that. I'm a little bit excited about it. Yeah.
Oh no.
No names.
No names.
No names.
You know who you are.
It's all when we left on Friday night, we got to the airport and it was really busy. And we're like, what's going on? Basically, like 75% of our plane was migrants. They were loading them up to go to Denver.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was. I mean, obviously, context. We live in El Paso, but you always see migrants at the airport. But in this case, I mean, this particular flight, there were, I would say, the U.S. government is keeping Frontier alive. I mean, just from the looks of what was going on there. Because seriously, like the entire plane, 75% of the plane were migrants. And it was really just interesting to see, it's what's going on. It's what's happening. You know, people are crossing over illegally or illegally, and the government is, you know, providing them a flight somewhere out.
There's nothing here in El Paso, right?
No.
There's no infrastructure to keep them here. I mean,
No,
that's for sure. But I actually sat down. I sat down beside clearly a migrant, and I just kind of started talking to him.
Where was he from?
So he's from Cuba. He's from Havana,
What the fuck?
and he made it.
Cuba? A guy from Cuba made it
Yeah.
to El Paso.
Yeah. So
Why didn't he
apparently-
go to Miami?
No, apparently because it's not. It's hard. It's hard. You can. That's what I'm saying. The border is much more porous and easier to cross up here in Mexico. Obviously, in El Paso, in Texas, now California and New Mexico. It's in Arizona. It's a lot easier, and so that's what a lot of people are doing. This guy caught a flight from Cuba to Nicaragua. From Nicaragua, made his way up through all the other different countries. My geography is not great there. And then he made it his way here. I personally don't know if he crossed illegally or if he actually did the right process and you know, got processed through the ports of entry. But really interesting, super nice guy. I mean, great, really nice guy. I mean, clearly,
Obviously,
you know, he has
English, or do you speak Spanish?
no Spanish. Obviously.
oh, you were speaking
Yeah, I was
Spanish.
speaking
Okay,
Spanish to him. And when you're in El Paso and you hear a different accent from a Mexican Spanish accent, you know that they're not from
You can tell
the
immediately.
region, right? Like they're clearly. And so I started talking to him. He was really nice. It's really interesting how somebody in that position, he had a bag full of snacks, like little packets of like chips, gum, candy.
Everything
Clearly,
he got his hands on along
everything
the way.
he got his hands on along the way, and he was super nice. He would keep offering it to me, and I would be like, no, I'm good. He's like, no, like seriously, like have some, trust me. Like I'm like, no, like seriously. It's clear that he was just happy to be able to share something.
Yeah.
Because clearly in Cuba you are rationed to, you know, whatever you have rations to.
Yeah. No, he's like, I'm in America. I made it, motherfucker. I can share my candy now.
Exactly. I can share it. And he was really, so I took a piece of gum from him, you know, I was like, thank you.
Yeah. You
And we
you accepted the token.
yeah. Clearly he was very excited to offer
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And
Well, good for him.
yeah, it was great. I mean, and again, there was a plane full of these type of migrants, all from different places. There were clearly probably some Africans or Haitians on the plane.
Was there any like just unusual, unexpected ethnicity of person? Like, was there Chinese or like?
No Chinese. Yeah, that. Yeah, usually South Americans, definitely Central Americans. But another part that was really interesting is that we started talking a little bit more, and it just kind of shows you how these guys kind of. There is a process you to be processed by the U.S. government and grant you asylum for a permanent residency or whatever it is, a green card. You need to prove that you are
Refugee.
a refugee. You're being persecuted for any, class of, discrimination, right? So maybe your gender, your ethnicity, or your political views, or whatever it is. And so some people,
Can't you just like be like, I'm gay? Like, I'm gay, I'm being prosecuted. That's probably an easy one.
You could, yeah.
They'll be like, prove it. And they'd be like,
a lot of coyotes, which are basically cartel affiliates that make money off of transporting migrants across the border. They prep them on what to say, how to say it, what stories to make up and whatnot. Because a lot of people aren't really refugees in like an asylum-seeking context of you're really being persecuted. You really can't go back to your country without
most
maybe
people
dying.
are not.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're economic migrants, right? So the economic opportunities in their countries aren't very good.
Yeah, they're not eating. They're not eating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is not a valid reason to seek asylum. It
Really?
just
I mean, if you're from like fucking Palestine, I think that's a good reason. Well, that's different. That's a little extreme.
that's different.
But like Venezuela, I mean, shit's pretty tough over there.
No, I mean that's hard shit. I mean that technically by law, by the U.S. asylum seeking programs, it is not a reason. It's not a real reason to immigrate as a refugee. It's not.
Yeah.
That's your problem. That's the country's problem, right? America already did that to the country. You know?
Yeah, America did that to the
Yeah,
country already,
in
and now
most-
it's your problem.
Yeah, now it's your problem.
Yeah.
And so it's not a valid reason. And so a lot of these people need to make up a reason to actually go. And so in this case, this guy started talking to me, and I asked him, what was Havana like or whatever, and I asked him what he studied or if he had any studies, and he said he studied accounting. He had in university, and I studied accounting in university, so I was kind of like interested.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. So you're one of me, right?
Is it like communist accounting?
I don't
Like,
know.
what's
So,
going on over there? Is it like,
who knows?
oh yeah, like one for me, one for the government, like like
Everybody gets a little bit.
yeah, just a little bit, like
Just enough.
not much.
Just enough.
Maybe.
But so I started talking to him about it, and I asked him, what kind of accounting he learned, and do you know what a balance sheet is? And he's like, oh, balance what? Yeah, a balance sheet.
You said this in Spanish?
Yeah. And
How do you say balance sheet in Spanish?
hoja de balance or un balance,
Oh, okay.
just a balance,
A balance, yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't know, and I asked him some other questions like, what kind of accounting are they,
Yeah.
teaching, and he just couldn't answer any of it. So it was clear to me that
It was bullshit.
it was
part
bullshit. Like it was
He's
part
like,
of his.
I'm an accountant. I'm here, and it was shit over there, and like,
Yeah, it
let me
was-
in. I can help with your accounting. Like,
I mean, it's
I hear
clear,
they want accountants over here. Like,
it's clear that it was part of his story. And
Yeah.
so he made something up like, like the university in Cuba, they they don't really teach you like. They just
I'm
teach
surprised he
you the
didn't like
basic
play with
stuff.
the bullshit. I'm sure it wasn't like Balancia, sí, oh, of course. Like why wasn't he just like
He
playing along?
didn't. I don't know. He just couldn't. He couldn't do it. I mean, maybe he just. But again, that's just what's interesting about that whole situation is that clearly this guy who had absolutely no reason to lie to me, besides maybe thinking I'm a narc or something like I'm CBP undercover.
He kind of looked like a cop.
Maybe
Glasses.
he lied about it. I mean, I don't know. It just shows you that a lot of people who are coming across the border, are we don't really know who they are. Like we can't really validate.
Oh, we don't know
what's
jack
going
shit
on.
about who they are. I know that. But what does it matter? I mean, like, we don't know who the fuck's born here tomorrow. Like, could be a fucking serial killer. I mean, like, whatever. We're all people, right? Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, if they fuck shit up, put them in jail.
I mean, there's a lot of Chinese migrants that are coming over.
And there's Chinese migrants coming over legally, and I work with them. I mean,
No, yeah, I know. But
What's the difference?
there's a thinking in like conservative, like Twitter space where people think that it's kind of like a slow burn plot to like maybe get some CIA equivalent Chinese migrants to come in, infiltrate the border, and then find some way to like take down America.
I think that's a right wing conspiracy theory.
100%. I mean, but it's also not illogical. Like, it could be a possibility. I mean, why are and how are they?
Okay, America has like 300, almost close to 400 million people in it, if you include the illegals, I guess. Probably over 400.
Yeah, probably around
And
400.
you're bringing in migrants like 1 to 2 million a year. So if you just think about the amount of people coming in, and
I think just illegal migrants are around 2 million per year.
Per
Just
year.
illegal, and that's
illegal's about 1.2, 1.3.
something around there. Yeah.
It's not that much. So we're talking
Yeah.
about 3 million. So what is that? 1% of the population every
every
year?
year. I mean, that's a lot.
No, but you got to understand,
That's
once
one of
someone
the-
comes into America,
That's some of the highest immigration rates.
once they
in the
start,
world.
no, not
think so.
Canada is way higher proportionally as a
I
percentage.
think Canada grew at around 3%. 3 point
Canada
something.
brought in over 1 million people a year.
But
which
think
is
about
like-
it. Think
yeah,
about
3%.
No, I saw it recently. It was 3-ish%. And just to remind you that Canada's population is a tenth
Mm-hmm.
of the U.S.'s population. So the U.S. is bringing in around 3.
It's
let's
not
say,
about absolute numbers; it's about percentages.
percentage. Sure.
Yeah, it's dilution.
Right. So the U.S. is, let's say, if they're bringing in 1%. I mean, that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people in absolute terms, but when we're talking about culture,
But
we're
I'm
talking about dilution, and we need to talk in percentages.
But I'm talking about illegal immigration, right? So people that we don't know are not vetted. We don't know what purposes they come to the country for.
I'm not pro illegal immigration, but what I'm saying is it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Once these people come in, within 5 years or 10 years, they become integrated into society. And if they're going to do something bad,
If those are the intentions, right? I mean, again,
you will. If you live here,
you are Russia, you are China, you are North Korea. You see that there's clearly a porous border in the south of the United States. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that situation?
What are you going to do? What is people going to do? Like bomb the place? Like that's not happening.
I mean, look at what happened with Al Qaeda. Look at what happened with the previous terrorist events. You know, they come in, they plot, they do their thing.
You can radicalize an American citizen and do that. They did that
People
in San Bernardino.
people are getting
you don't have to be
radicalized.
a migrant or not. And most of the
I
times
know.
when that shit happens, most mass shootings or mass killings or terrorist attacks are by people who illegally come here.
I know, and what I'm saying is that is one percentage of the population. You know, legal migrants who are coming in and they're following the process. They're being vetted by the U.S. government before they even touch soil.
And a lot of them are the ones committing the crimes too.
In the past, those are the past situations, but we've never seen a migrant crisis the way that it is set up now. And all I'm saying is that you can think that nothing is going to happen or that it's totally fine, but there is definitely a possibility that it's not a conspiracy if it's actually happening. We're seeing it with our own eyes.
I think 99.9% of people are just happy to be in America with the opportunities.
100%.
Sure, there might be a couple fuckers. But guess what? Those fuckers can probably, if China or fucking Russia wants to get those people into your country, they can do it through the legal paths too. Trust me.
Yes, and they are doing it. But when you have, it's like saying, I would rather not encrypt my messages than just have them unencrypted, right? Like,
Nah.
of course you want to encrypt. You want to
I don't
make
encrypt
sure,
shit. I don't give a fuck about encryption. Take my messages and
Well,
fucking
you're not
shove
the
it up your
U.S.
ass.
government. You're not probably the most notorious, and by virtue of pure power.
But this is not encrypted like fucking war messages like in Morse code. These are people.
And again, there's a lot of people out there that we just don't know anything about.
I don't think we know that enough about the people we even migrate legally.
There are vettings. There is vetting programs. There are ways for, like, look at my history, like in the CBP fucking taking
But see how it wrongfully flagged you? You're not a fucking terrorist.
100%.
So like it's literally
I
flagging
know.
you for some bullshit that really doesn't have any threat to the country. And if someone comes in, they just happen to have a clean record, but they actually work with the Russian government on the down
Could
low.
happen, yeah.
That happens. You can do it.
But what I'm saying, so it's happening both ways, definitely. But it's also not great that it's just happening the other way.
If you want, if I was Russia or China and I wanted to send in a spy into the country, I would send them in illegally because they can hit the ground running. They can get a job tomorrow. They can get a job at the fucking Apple, Google's, whatever, fucking steal their intellectual property. Maybe get a job with the government once they get a green card. Good luck. This refugee who just came in through the border is going to take 10 years before you can get a fucking green card.
Yes and no, right? So there are clearly people who come in with certain skills and they might be able to get hired quickly. There is a process and it does take a long time.
It takes a long time.
But we're talking about, for example, it was super easy for the Chinese government to set up police stations in Canadian cities that were persecuting Chinese or anti-CCP advocates.
So that's just a law and order thing. Why would Canada allow that?
Well, I mean, Canada
is stupid.
I mean, Canada does some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that to a certain extent that those people came in legally into Canada and were able to found certain systems that report back to our adversaries in that sense, or not in Canada's sense, it's not their adversaries. This is probably their best friend.
Depends on the day of the week,
So
But that was legal.
Exactly. So imagine what could go on, not knowing the type of people. That
I think the same thing or less or more, but roughly the same. I think it's roughly the same risk. Roughly the same risk.
I don't think.
Why do you think China and Russia want to send in some fucking criminals that have rap sheets over here? Like
that's what I'm saying. They might not even be criminals. There might be legitimate, just I don't know, KGB
But if the KGB wants to send someone in,
It's harder than ever.
what they do is they recruit a guy with a clean record, they make him a KGB agent, they send him into the legal process.
But that's harder than ever in our surveillance state, and the fact that everything is known, information is everywhere. The CIA, they have the ability to.
So what is this KGB agent going to do when he's in here as an illegal migrant? Is he
Who
going to fucking?
knows? They could set up near. They can set up near military bases. They can use technology to.
We're allowing China to buy all the land around all of our military bases.
Another point. Exactly.
That's just a legal thing.
That's a legal thing, right?
Completely legal.
You look at the purchasing. Of
I think
farmland.
we've found enough ways to get fucked legally that we don't even have to worry about the illegal ways. Like what the?
I mean, I don't know. I would just say, just to wrap up that topic. I mean, I just think it's something to think about. I think it's not a great thing. Obviously, we need to try to make sure people immigrate to this country in a legal way, just because that's the way it should be done. Should there be better pathways? Definitely. We should be able to provide better pathways for good immigration to come through this country and increase it, because clearly America is not on the top end of that, and we need to be competitive in a globalizing economy.
Mm-hmm. We're a country of immigrants here in America. Everyone in this country is an immigrant, mostly.
So we shouldn't be afraid of creating the pathways to improve our legal system.
100%
for legal immigration.
100%. And just to be clear, I'm not like pro illegal immigration. I don't think we should stop it and do what you said.
Yeah.
Let us open the door legally and let more people in and qualify more people faster and find more efficient ways to get better quality people, all that. But I'm also not afraid of illegal immigration. I'm not afraid of these people coming in either. I don't really, I really don't really care that much, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid. I do care as a person who came from a family that did the right thing and then did get fucked in the end. I feel like it's unfair to, people like my parents who immigrated legally into the country, had a good reason to immigrate. We had ties, family ties. We built a life in Florida. And then just for the U.S. government at the end to say, hey, you know what?
So your beef's not really with the illegals. Your beef's more with
my beef is
the
that
legal system is not working.
I think.
But that's where you should focus. Don't worry about those fuckers that are coming across illegally. That's neither here nor there. The problem is really.
I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the system. I'm saying that this whole problem isn't the problem of the migrants. The migrants are just doing the thing that makes sense, right? Why wouldn't you migrate illegally when you might have to wait 5 to 10 years just to get a case looked at by some kind of immigration authority that'll say, come over?
The system has allowed this.
Exactly.
This is America chose to allow this.
Yeah, my beef is with the legal system that is allowing this. The government that is just allowing this to happen. That we're not proportionate. We're not, putting funds together.
Maybe on a big picture, maybe upstairs somewhere in the government, they're like, yeah, we can't agree on immigration reform, but we need more immigrants. But the system currently doesn't allow for it. So let's fucking just let the illegals in, and we'll just complain about it, and we'll fucking fight over it on the elections. That's probably what happens, because they cannot agree on immigration reform. That'll almost never pass through Congress and the Senate.
That's a good point. I mean,
so they are allowing it to happen clearly.
No, that's
for a reason.
That's a really good point. I mean, I in all of the podcasting videos, shit that I've watched, research, I've never heard that perspective of it's clear that we do need immigration in general.
Yeah.
The current rate through the legal route is not great, and so we just.
This is how we can get the immigrants in.
That's an interesting perspective, but again, I think we just need to know who's coming.
I don't think it's that much of a risk, but
we'll never get the final say. I'm gonna get a beer.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to be here, living here, and kind of just being around.
Do you feel it though?
No.
We're living in El Paso, Texas.
I know.
The ground zero for immigration. I can't even tell.
Every hot topic's talking about this huge migrant crisis, and I'm like, I'm living in it, and I don't really notice anything. They talk about all how downtown there's a huge influx of like,
you see it on the news.
Yeah.
They're like, El Paso's shutting down and this and that, and there's
living
migrants
here.
everywhere, and they show this shot of these people, and like I'm like driving across the border every day. I'm like,
it's
what?
somewhat
This looks
normal.
like normal. Like, what are you talking about? Like, where are these people? Like, every time where
Yeah.
are these people?
So
That's true.
they're on flights to Denver. That's where they are. They don't stay
But
here.
where's this campment or whatever?
You
This
know.
the caravan. Where's the caravan?
They are here, man. I mean, we've
I don't
seen
see
them.
anything.
Dude. Ask Jenna. We've experienced borderlines long as hell, and we've seen this when they spike. When it spikes, the situation spikes, and it's on TV, and it is one. We do see changes on the border. We see people running up to the border wall. Generally, the port of entry that we use is not the hot spot for that type of crossing. And so it's mostly on the west side. There are encampments on the west side. There were protests.
The west side,
Yeah, the west
like
side.
downtown,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's where most of
the downtown bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been over there a few times.
Not the downtown bridge, more west. Like
There's another bridge more west.
There's not a bridge, but there's an entry. There's a area where the Rio Grande is much thinner, and they choose to cross over there.
So you can walk over and you're on a U.S. soil.
Yeah, you're on U.S. soil, and that's it. And the Texas, it's near the downtown, but more to the west on Paisano Drive.
You mean where that mountain is with the Jesus on
Yes.
top?
And remember when we climbed the mountain, we saw a lot of
We saw illegals walking across,
illegals walking across.
and then we saw like the CBP standing on the other side
my
with
God.
like binoculars,
Yeah, and heat detecting,
thermal imaging cameras.
thermal imaging. Yeah.
It was so weird. I remember walking by. So we're walking up this mountain hiking on the El Paso side, and we just see like a group of clearly migrants walk by us, but they're like staring us down. They're like, "Are these narcs? Are these cops? They're gonna catch it?" Like it was so awkward walking by them. You could tell it was like a little weird, right?
Yeah, it's probably a little dangerous actually.
Yeah.
Why is it dangerous, Zane?
These are desperate people, Jose.
They might jump you for whatever you got.
Racist.
No, it's not. Not because they're fucking colored.
I know. But I mean, the shit is going down. We don't see it. Again, we have a medium size to large size. It is the largest border city in the U.S., excluding San Diego, but it's just not really a border city. I mean, you have more the southern city there.
What is it called? Vista del Sol down there.
Something like that, yeah. But so we're more prepared to take on that kind of situation, even though we are nowhere near prepared in terms of funding. And what we do is just bust them out. We've passed downtown some serious like people just living outside. I mean, and what the Texas government does is that there's an inflow. There's a lot of people. They live on the streets, shelter, whatever. They try to provide for them, and then they just bust them out. Yeah. So we don't see the problem here. I'm sure people living in New
But I would
York
expect
right now.
to see like a large encampment on the Mexico side, which I
there
don't
were,
see.
when there were situations like that, it was there. Yeah.
I think because you weren't here.
was
as
there.
But
often.
it's not like at the end of the world. Like it's just like there's a lineup. It's like
Yeah.
fucking Wonderland, like for the
It's just a lineup.
It's
yeah.
just a line.
It is
Yeah.
just a line, but you see like the babies and the kids and
yeah,
little,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's just interesting though because I'm freely crossing this bridge, and then there's just like a lineup of people who are like, it's a weird feeling.
You've got the fast pass.
Yeah, and I even got the fast pass. I'm zooming by these people every day in and out, and I'm just here like, this feels weird. Like, I don't know. It took a little getting used to be honest. Just be like, wow,
I can't tell which
these
ones
people-
are migrants or who's just a fucking pedestrian. Like I just see people walking around. Like I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Well,
So, like,
I think you just because you weren't here as often, but you will see the lineup right on the other side of the Rio Grande, and they're just all lined up like, and you can see the backpacks they wear, and there's certain like demeanor that you know who they are.
yeah.
Yeah, and again, some people don't look or speak in the type of traditional Mexican or kind of look. I mean, as a Latino, I can distinguish
Yeah, I can't tell.
them much easier. But yeah, I mean, it's really happening, man. It's really happening. And again, the Denver flight for us that we had this weekend was just an example of it. We'd never seen it, dude.
Actually,
I mean,
one time I was on a flight to Dallas, and all the migrants, there were migrants going into the airport to join
Yeah.
the plane, and they were all like Middle Eastern.
Oh, that's probably when the Afghanistan.
Oh, that's when Afghanistan.
Yeah, because they brought them.
Yeah.
They brought a lot of them here.
Yeah.
But again, that's a case of legal immigration.
That was right
Those
around
are-
Afghanistan, the evacuation, and I think they flew them into like Fort Bliss and then took
Yeah,
them.
they took them into Fort Bliss. It's funny because they went from Afghanistan, like the desert, just to come into another desert. And they're like, I thought we escaped this.
What? They fucking turned around? This is bullshit. Like,
Psych. So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, man, 75% of that flight was,
America is just like back home.
we can get used to this. But they probably took, again, El Paso really just doesn't have the facilities or the infrastructure to house that much immigration. And honestly, nobody wants to stay here. I don't blame them. Why would you want to stay here?
There's not money. There's probably more opportunities in Juarez than there are in El Paso.
It's kind of weirdly an interesting experience because there's not a lot of homeless people here because El Paso is a small city. The moment you touch down in Denver,
Homeless?
so much more homeless.
not
Like
that
it's not
many.
like mine, but it's more like a big city feel. Like big cities, like no, it's not that bad, but I notice it. So coming from El Paso, the fact that we noticed it and recognized it, it shows that El Paso just has a very, very, very small amount.
I would just say it's worse in like Austin. I mean, Denver wasn't that bad, but I think
Austin cleaned it up quite a bit too.
probably in the past, yeah. But no, for just getting into Denver, I mean, it's just an observation. It's different for sure. It's a bigger city.
It's a
definitely
liberal
street-
city too.
Yeah, but it's it's very clean. I would say Denver is pretty nice. I mean,
No, it is generally.
it's not that bad. I would say our experience in Austin was probably worse
Oh my god.
in terms of that
Interesting
aspect.
experiences in Austin.
Yeah, Denver's pretty good. It's not a bad city. Not a bad town.
No, it's not.
No,
Did you guys ever go to
Denver's
like
actually really
Boulder?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Boulder. Boulder's more of like a college town.
College town.
But
yeah.
there's lots of skiing.
Where'd you guys go skiing?
We went to Echo Mountain. So we rented a car, but we didn't want to drive 2 hours. You have to at least drive 2 hours to get to
Big mountains. Yeah.
Big Mountain. So we went to
Oh yeah, we went to Echo, but I just wanted to talk about the rental car.
Oh.
Yeah, so we get to the airport and we go to the rental car place, and they ran out of like regular sedans,
Yeah.
and so they said we had electrics only.
Nah.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, that's look cool,
Was it Hertz?
It was budget,
Oh,
but I think everybody's doing the electric
EVs.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're like, whatever. I mean, at that point we were really planning on skiing, but I'm like, whatever, let's try it out. So they give us a car and we go, and it's like charged at like 15%, and that's like, I don't know, maybe 30 miles.
They gave you an empty car.
Yeah, and we're like sitting there, it's like trying to charge, and that thing's not going to charge.
Is it a Tesla?
It's not a Tesla. It's
What
like
is it?
a Hyundai Ioniq.
Oh my god, dude, you're probably
Yeah.
fucked. Like they just rented you a car and you just can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
So I was like,
So we Ubered.
so it's ridiculous, and I'm like, wow, like, I mean, the car looks nice, I mean, but whatever, I mean, it's not going to charge at all.
That's a stupid rental car. Just fucking no.
And so,
we went back, yeah.
so I went back to the counter and I was like, dude, like it's at 15%. Like I can't do anything with it. So he upgrades me, and it's the car behind that one, and it's a Genesis. So it's a Hyundai, but like the Lexus version.
With a full
and
tank.
Full 99%.
Oh, okay,
like
good.
it was.
So
it
you're
was
good
great.
for like a couple
And
days.
it was really nice. Like honestly, it was a really nice car. Loved the vibe. Electric,
All white
the
interior.
electric driving experience is great,
Oh yeah. Fantastic.
But the entire time, like we're trying to decide where to go skiing, and there's a lot of skiing places, but it's like 2.5 hours away or 2 hours away. Some of the
Look,
more.
we're not making it there in this electric car. Like fuck that.
And I was like, yeah, I'm really not very confident in that we're gonna make it. And again, I don't really know any of the charging specs, how quickly it's gonna charge, any of that. And I read up quickly online like how long the Ioniq would take to charge. Thing goes like 6 hours, like apparently 6 hours to charge it, and that's like on the fast charging mode.
Really?
No, it
It's not a
takes
Tesla.
longer.
The
It'll take you
Teslas are
longer.
probably peak.
Tesla's
technology.
charging like 45
Yeah,
minutes.
Tesla
Yeah.
is the top of the line.
Yeah, so
No, the other one should if it's like level 3 fast charging, but it's hard to find a charger.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so we decided to just go to this place like about an hour away, and it's not terrible. But even going up there, I had like we met this lady and we talked to her about the electric car experience, and she gave a good like point. She was like, "Yeah, those things just give you range anxiety.
Anxiety. Yeah.
Like it's just consistently you don't know if you're gonna make it anywhere. Like you're just worried whether you're gonna make it, whether there's any electric charging stations."
And can
And
you
even if
believe
there
California
is-
and Ontario both say that, and Europe as well, the whole fucking Europe, California and Ontario, they've said that no more gas cars after 2030.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're saying. And there's a huge revolt in Europe. All the automakers are banding together and protesting this because like BMW basically said and Mercedes said that if we do this, we will not be able to keep up, and we're just going to give the entire European auto market to the Chinese because they're already selling Chinese cars there. They let it happen. And range anxiety, like it's not the way to go. Like
Yeah.
hybrid, if you want to be green, let's all go hybrid.
Well, that's why Toyota's just doing hybrid.
Toyota's only hybrid.
Yeah.
I think they have the first all electric Lexus just because of this 2030 bullshit. And then they're promoting their big push is for hydrogen. They don't want electric at all.
Well, what's interesting is that obviously in the past 100 years we've built our infrastructure specifically around gas powered vehicles. So it's clear that you can get gas everywhere and anywhere in a developed country, right? So I think with the availability of electricity everywhere in a home or the grid, I think we might be able to expand that availability quicker. It's just
No,
like
the amount of energy you would need to distribute, the power distribution network, would need to basically.
So the network is something else. The grid, the actual capacity is a different question.
the capacity is not there.
What I'm thinking is the actual like
California
posts-
already has blackouts, like
Yeah,
fucking because of the lack of power.
Wow.
Yeah, like we don't have the great. It's just stupid. The policy doesn't make any sense. It's not scientifically possible.
Yeah. Wow. No, that is kind of scary, but if it was possible, I would be cool with it. Just because
I like electric
I
cars.
love the
They
feel.
don't charge fast enough.
Say that wasn't an issue.
It is an
I
issue.
get
But for me in a household, you should have two cars. One of them can be an EV, and the other one can be like a hybrid or whatever. And then
or a full badass truck,
or just a
dude.
fucking lifted truck, a 5 liter.
Your mic light is red. Is that normal?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, just wanted to point that out.
It seems like it might be working.
Test.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
I think maybe it's just battery coming low.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we'll see. If it goes away, then just
Yeah.
tell me. Yeah, and if you can charge your EV at your house every night, you just use it for around the city and around town, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is my favorite driving experience. Like, I'm a
It's
motorhead.
seamless. It's seamless.
It's so seamless. I love driving a Tesla. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's an incredible. It's like an iPhone. It's like owning an iPhone.
Yeah.
But it's
You're
just
so
it does
right.
have downsides, you know.
Yeah.
I think Tesla really does have it down because when we were driving the Tesla.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay. When we were driving the Tesla, 30 minutes charge, supercharge, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No range anxiety there.
No, you do. Trust me. If you get
Even
far
a little
enough,
bit,
if you get
yeah.
far enough away from a station and like you're like going into the mountains or whatever, and you're like, oh, where am I going to find a charging station? What if I run out of battery? Like, it does happen. Trust me, I own one.
You own
you
a
will run
Tesla,
into those
yeah.
situations. It's not convenient.
True. Well,
Although
eventually.
we might need to pause quickly. I think what ran out of battery might have actually been. Oh, it's not recording.
No, the actual mics.
Back in business. So
Yeah.
we were talking about electric cars. I think at the end of it, but
Yeah, no, electric cars are not practical
Yeah.
for
Leave it
for,
at that.
for everything. Yeah, but they're great.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah. So what'd you do this weekend, Zane?
Nothing interesting. Yeah, just hung out.
Sad.
Yeah.
Did you go to the gym?
Oh yeah, went to the gym for sure.
Nice.
I did the sprints again.
Oh yeah, you said you did that. I gotta get back and try.
I did it
that.
on Saturday, and then I did it again on Monday.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are hard, but if you stay consistent with it, you'll be in like great shape.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So we were talking about while we were having technical difficulties. Jen is modeling again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just kind of explaining to these guys a little bit about how the industry works. I'm pretty new to it myself, so I mean, don't quote me on anything.
So you were talking about different types of modeling. So you were talking about editorial, commercial. What was the other one? High fashion,
There's high fashion, fitness.
fitness.
Yeah.
So what are those things? Like, what is editorial? That's the most confusing.
Like I would say editorial, if from just my knowledge is like, campaign, like magazine covers, like, like getting your face. Yeah. Like I say, like magazine covers, like is mainly editorial. So like the cover of Vogue,
Okay.
the cover, like those are huge, like,
So that's editorial. That's like the
Yeah.
dream.
yes.
And then high fashion is
High
like,
fashion is also like a dream, but
Yeah.
it doesn't pay as much. So you ideally, like I think editorial or like, is where you want to be to make good money. But high fashion is also more, I think, just kind of getting your face out there. If you get selected, I think to walk these shows, it's
yeah,
very good for your
that's how you can
image.
become like a famous model.
Yeah,
Like,
for
oh,
your
you know.
brand,
Yeah.
but also you get to walk for some amazing designers. And like, I mean, for fashion geeks out there, that's just like
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like a dream come true. And
So
yeah.
So that goes back into like what we were talking about this morning, like on Instagram. So like I was like, well, why don't you just become like an Instagram model? And like they're like telling you your like butt is 1 inch too big, like you have to shrink it. Like it's not going to matter on Instagram. Like what's the difference? Like why don't you go for like that? But like
Well-
you were like pretty like, no, that's not what I'm into. Like it seems to be a big difference to you.
I think like being a social media influencer is very different than, I mean,
What's the difference though? To me, like as a guy, I'm like, oh, hot girl. Like,
hey, well, see that as a guy, like, but I think there's differences for sure. Like, I mean, being a model, you get to travel. I mean, maybe you can travel as a social media influencer
I mean, have
too.
you seen social media? I think they're living the life. Like a social media influencer, like they're traveling the world. They're making 100 grand a month. They're making way more than like probably like 99.9% of editorial models.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not
I know it's not
true.
just about money. So like,
Yeah.
but like, so I'm trying to figure out what is it? Like, what is it that is so attractive about that? But like, it isn't attractive to be beautiful and like be
actually,
published online.
being a part of the modeling industry, so what is going to happen is your social media is very important. So just byproduct of being a model, you have to develop your social media. And a lot of these models already make a killing just off of their social media on top of being a model. So it's just about, and a lot of these agencies, they actually not control, but like if you sign with certain agencies, they have control of your social media. So everything goes through them for what you post, and it's got to be like, it's for a specific target market, and it's like, all this stuff. So, I mean, a byproduct of being a model is having, and a lot of these people end up getting like, so basically like you'll, I don't know, post something, a lip gloss for a certain like, brand, a Glossier or whatever, and you get money through that. You become a brand ambassador for a lot of these companies. You make money just like you would like being a huge fitness influencer.
Yeah, but the way I see it is the door in to becoming a social media influencer isn't guarded by all this red tape and all these people, these decision makers that you have no control over. If you go down the social media route, I see that as like just an open lane. It's like it's up to you. You write your own ticket.
It's
you
not
put yourself
that
out
easy,
there.
though.
I know it's not that easy, but
that's
at
what
least
I'm
there's
saying.
nobody stopping you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, let's hopefully you get signed by a good
Like no,
agency.
but there's
and
nobody.
you
But there's
can-
nobody that can say no to you if you go the social media influencing
Well,
way.
no, there's nobody that can say no to you, but you have to be
There's
able
also
to.
nobody that-
You have to have an edge. Like, for example, the girl you showed me who's a bodybuilder, right? Like, for example, yeah, tomorrow I can decide I'm going to start bulking up and become a bodybuilder, but that girl clearly, whether or not I don't know if you think this, but I think she probably had a passion for that. Maybe and I
Probably.
think
Oh, I'm
a
sure
lot-
she did, yeah.
So I can't just say, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go.
You don't have to be a
mow
bodybuilder.
lawn
No,
and
you don't have to
become
be a bodybuilder
know-
specifically, but just anything like.
Yeah, but I think that
you
will
like
be...
you whatever you love, like you might love high fashion or like thrifting, like you can go hard on that.
But she's already so.
I know I can go even harder with that, but I'm like, I'm trying to post as much, like, when I do buy different outfits, I do post them, you
Yeah.
know, I do.
But you can go a lot harder.
And I think I could go a lot harder, but again, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I
She could definitely go a lot harder on the social media side of it.
I would.
And I mean,
There's
but-
nothing to lose.
So she can already do that and still pursue her, traditional modeling career path,
Yeah.
right? I think just that Jenna might be, have this, idea of the path towards modeling that is built up by a support system that is an agency, right? Maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she just wants to perform the art and not have to deal with the business side of it. And she can also create a huge following on her Instagram, while at the same time being this model for a high
Yeah, I would
fashion.
go hard on both.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
just
you-
saying it's this is an excuse. Let me put that out there, but it's very time consuming. So every second of my day, if I want to dedicate to this social media thing on top of the job I have and everything, it will be a nonstop grind.
I think it's because you're overthinking it though. Like if you just get dressed up to like go out,
It's not that like so.
just take a
I've
picture.
I've tried to do this. So a couple months ago, I'd say 6 months ago, and I was trying to like, I had a goal. I would post every Saturday and every Wednesday, and that was my goal. So I actually woke up at like 5 a.m. sometimes. I would get dressed. These guys would be gone for work already. Get dressed, do a photo shoot, then get ready for work, go to work. And then at night, edit whatever and post, and
No.
and trust me, Zane, not all the time you get in front of the camera, it's actually gonna go the way you want it to. Like listen to like if so maybe I get all dolled up and I'm like I hate all these photos, and that maybe that's just an insecurity, but it happens, right? So it's not always gonna be perfect, and I can do a lot more, but it takes a lot of time.
yeah, I mean, I get that. But you also maybe just try to build it into your life. Be like, okay, like Wednesday night or Thursday night's date night, so I'm gonna get dressed up for date night.
Yeah.
And then like Saturday is Saturday, so we'll do something on Saturday. And just try to
Yeah.
build it into your lifestyle.
Oh.
So it's not like you're just getting ready for nothing at like 5 a.m. and then changing into like work boots and going to work.
Yeah.
No,
so I've actually realized a lot of things. Like, first of all, like if I'm going to do this alone, the aesthetic really matters. So first of all, in this house, the lighting is horrible.
Yeah, Jose.
and like certain things. So like in our house in Toronto, we had a huge window, beautiful mirror. It's very easy. Like I find specifically in this house, it's kind of hard to get I don't know. Maybe like turning a room into a studio with great lighting was an idea, but like, that's limiting. Also not having someone who's willing to always be your photographer. And I'm not saying that's Jose's responsibility or anyone's responsibility, but that's also a downside, right?
But you see these girls on like Instagram, whatever, they're just taking pictures in a mirror
of themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and I've done the mirror thing millions of times, and the self shoot, but I mean, I guess I could just keep doing that. But to me, in my head, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I feel like it's kind of stale, or I got to switch it up. I need to, every so often do a professional shoot,
I think there's something to be said for volume.
Yeah.
Like just volume
Volume
is worth,
and consistency.
Yeah, volume and consistency. Like even if like you just don't overthink it, you just get something out there, and then every once in a while you do the extra work and you get something like 11 out of 10, and that's going to be great. But the volume is going to get traction like over time.
And 100% I agree. And I think it'd be interesting to talk to like someone who's actually like a full-time influencer and like talk to them about like the problems they face.
You can
or,
listen
like,
to a podcast. There's
know.
hundreds of them. Like that podcast I sent you with that same girl. She's
Yeah.
talking about it in that
She's
podcast.
talking about it, yeah,
Yeah, like
that's
it's
true.
not. Yeah, it's all available.
No, it definitely is. Yeah. But no, for me, like, to be honest, like, I don't even really like social media like that. Like, I'm kind of just using it as a tool right now. I personally don't even scroll. I don't even really look on, like, I don't like to, for some reason, you ask Jose, like, he is a huge social media user. Like, he actually enjoys it. Every morning he wakes up, he's like, yes, like, give me some content.
Yeah, but if
like,
you have like
I'm not that
100,000
kind of
followers,
person.
like it's
No,
influence,
I'm
it's
I'm
power.
telling you, like, you have 100,000 followers, but maybe a lot of those people actually don't even like being on the app. They're just doing it and using it as a tool, right?
They're following you. So like the amount of followers you have is just power.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Right?
of course. Yeah. But personally, I think like, yeah, that's maybe my limiting factor is like, I'm not
You don't
like,
believe in it.
I
Is that what
do.
you're
I believe it's a huge, it's a big deal in today's world. Like you have to be, if you want to be in marketing or anything, like, you got to be on social media. It's huge. Like, and I am too. That's why I'm using it. But there's a lot of like, I would say downsides to it as well.
Downsides for you to post your pictures?
No, I mean, just social media a lot of people have toxic relationships with social media in general.
As a user,
As a user, yeah.
but you're not the user. You're the provider. You're selling the drugs.
Yeah, but I'm still I'm still a user in the sense because I have to go on it and
Oh,
look at things.
you have a problem.
No, no. I mean, you know, suppliers can use their own supply. I mean, technically, there is a huge problem with people who
Can't you just post and ghost?
Well, that's what I
you
do right
can,
now.
but people can't stick to that consistently. I mean, that's a hard thing to do because technically, social media is a drug. It's very addictive.
But you have the app on your phone. I was just texting you on Instagram this morning. Like, you
did.
use Instagram.
I use it, but saying like, have you not heard of like okay, obviously when you're bringing up like Joe Rogan talks about it, like how he can never look at his comment section because if he does, he will spiral and it becomes very toxic. And you start looking into why people are saying mean things about you.
Have
And,
you
like,
ever had a mean comment?
No, I've never had a mean. I don't have a huge. I'm not like at that level. I won't even say I'm at a point where comments really matter.
Okay.
But when you do get to that point, or
It's
like
not a problem at
no,
this time.
but I'm saying it can become.
It's a good problem to
consuming.
have. Like,
Yes.
it means you've made it.
Yes, yeah, it means you made it. But what I'm saying is every single person who has a huge following, and I don't know what we want to consider that, maybe over 200K. I don't know what it is, but whatever that is, every single one of you will say there is a dark, dark side to this, but they have to either control themselves or
So
do something.
you're telling me that you don't want to get a big social media following because you're afraid of having a big
No,
social
I think
media
I
following?
have no problem getting this.
Okay, then what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
I don't know. I'm just trying to say that like I'm doing what I'm doing right now, and maybe I could be doing more, but like
if
I
you
don't
want,
feel like
you don't feel like doing it.
I can. Like right now, I feel like I'm doing the most I can. Like I'm posting maybe twice a week. I'm doing. If you want to turn that to every day, then it's hard. It's a lot of work, and I just don't know if I'm. Maybe if in a couple months, if things pop off, that will be my full-time job, right? It will be, but right now it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you do it, Zane?
I'm going to.
Well, Zane had a foot OnlyFans or something.
Yeah. No, it's called Feet Finder. I have a Feet Finder account.
Do you
And
wanna link
if
it?
you
Do you
guys
wanna
want to
link it?
follow,
Yeah, what
I'll
is it?
put my link in the description. I'm
No,
showing my-
link in the description. We might get unwanted attention. Just say it in the thing.
Dude, if I can get one sale, I'll be the happiest guy on the planet. My feet have been on Foot Finder for almost a year now.
What's the at?
It's called Foot Finder.
But what's the like?
Oh, it's literally just photos of my feet.
No, but what's your handle or?
I don't even remember. It's been a year. I have to check.
All right, I guess this will be on.
Who
the
knows?
short.
I haven't opened the account in a year. Maybe there's like 500
Maybe you have,
people
like,
that have bought my feet for like
$5,000.
$20.
Yeah, exactly.
There could be money in the account.
Yeah, so we'll put the link in the bio for the for
Honestly,
the short clip.
I've been told by multiple people, that my feet are very attractive. So, for whatever that's worth.
Oh God, that's disturbing.
That's good. I'm glad it's
I don't
disturbing to you.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's
I mean, you could point them right there.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Point it at the camera right there.
No, it's okay.
Are you foot shy?
I'm not foot shy.
Then point it at the camera.
I'm not pointing my feet at the
Come
camera.
on, people need a preview of the goods they're gonna buy. Just like a quick one, like a flash. Flash the feed.
They'll have to go on my Foot Finder account. There's detailed pictures taken by a professional photographer.
No. Oh God.
We did a foot photo shoot with Adam. Yeah.
So you guys saw it here. You gotta subscribe to
Yeah.
his foot.
I'm not
Finder.
giving any freebies, okay? If you want it, you got to pay $20 for the pictures.
I feel like you've had your feet out at some point, and somebody might scroll back and look at this. And
And if they do catch a glimpse, they're probably gonna go buy the yeah.
There's just the whole video. They're like, this guy's such a tease. Link in the bio when the short clip comes out.
I told Zane that he should go the bodybuilding route
A bodybuilding room.
of like Instagram.
I don't want to be a bodybuilder. It's not my style. I just want to be in good shape, healthy.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do a backflip. Whatever my body looks like at that point is great.
Yeah.
Like also bodybuilding, it's all about getting super super lean and ripped. Like if you get down to sub 10% like body fat, like it screws your body up. Like your hormones get screwed up. Like guys who are running like 5-6% body fat, like they don't have a sex drive anymore. Like they're literally, it's not even healthy. Like I have no reason to be in
That's
that condition.
interesting.
Yeah, literally. Like they
didn't know
literally say like they have no desire because their hormones are completely gone. Like their hormones are their testosterone's down and whatever.
Yeah, bodybuilder is not a great path. I mean, you can use a bodybuilding technique to
Get strong.
exercise and
Yeah.
get strong. Although there's some debate on whether how strong you really can get out of a bodybuilder.
It's not the best
It's
routine
not
for
the-
being
for
strong
being
either.
strong, yeah. So, but if you really were to become an actual bodybuilder, it's a lot of pressure on your, body and immune system and all your, hormones and endocrine system. It's not great. It's
Do
not
you think
great
I would
for you.
look good as a bodybuilder? Like, is that a good look for
I
me?
don't think you have the genes for it.
Excuse me?
I don't know. Have you ever seen an Indian bodybuilder, dude?
Yeah, I'll show you some.
I don't know.
Yeah, there.
Apparently, I was watching this TikTok or something recently, where they explained why there's certain ethnicities that are more favorable for bodybuilders.
Oh, I'm sure.
For example, I've heard, I'm not saying, that the Mexican physique, like the traditional Mexican,
Oh yeah, like the macho,
ethnicity,
like what are they called, mucha lucha guys?
yeah, those guys aren't very bodybuilder like their physique isn't really made for bodybuilding.
Have you seen the size of my back? Like I have pretty broad
No,
setup.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's got huge
Maybe.
like, shoulders. Like,
Yeah, we just have to find out.
I'm not gonna find.
I don't think you need like a specific body type. I think you
No,
can.
you do. You do. If
Yeah?
you want to actually become competitive, like there's a specific. It's like 5'10", like certain shoulder width to,
Yeah.
to hip ratio,
Exactly.
and like a certain type of like body type.
No,
Yeah.
like I couldn't be one because I'm just like
Like my hips are tiny.
gotta-
Yeah, you got the
I got big-
the Colombian booty over here.
I got big hips. Yeah,
Indian booty.
I mean, when I was a teenager, it was a different situation. I mean, when I was a teenager, I feel like my ass wasn't as big. I don't know, but it's something that I
Dude,
Yeah,
I
just
saw
grew
I
into
saw
it.
like on the TV the other day. I saw like a little baby. It was a baby boy. Like it had just a fat ass, and I was just like, that's got to be a baby Jose.
Oh god. No, actually, I was very thin. Like growing up, when high school, I was pretty. Like it wasn't
You
that.
leaned out though. That's why.
I leaned out pretty, but I don't know. Yeah, I just grew into it. But it's definitely come from my mom's side for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't have that physique, so I don't have a bodybuilding physique.
Hey, but your physique's not bad, but specifically for bodybuilding, you want that V taper.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need to have a skinny waist and like huge shoulders, basically,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I have.
You could do it.
Yeah,
That's
but
like, you could do it.
I'm not about that life.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a tough.
like I do want to get lean. I do want to like have like
just
you know
be toned
extremely fat
and,
stomach, be
yeah,
toned,
just toned.
flat stomach, not fat stomach.
Just want to have a fat stomach.
And yeah, I mean that's about it. Be in good shape. I want to be like physically capable. Like that's like why my goal is a backflip. It's like a physical endeavor.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I remember doing all these exercises in basketball to like increase your hops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Parkour is
you
also
should
always interesting to me.
like mark a little spot on the wall as high as you can jump, and then like
Yeah.
keep marking as high as you can go.
I've just been literally sitting in the kitchen jumping as high as I can, like 10 times, like every 3 hours.
Wow. Oh yeah, I remember the bar at the house in our Bolton home. We would jump and touch the ceiling, the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Social media is it's interesting. There's a lot of different things you can do with it, but my main goal, and I've heard this from millions of like I guess advice from people who are make it big. Like they just say like you should love what you do. Like don't just try to do it because you're gonna make money. Like have some kind of passion for it.
No, you have to love
Yeah,
it.
you
I,
have to
I
love
think
it.
you do love fashion. Do you not enjoy the posting the
No,
fashion
of course.
shots?
And like I said, like I genuinely think like if I didn't have a full-time job right now on top
Yeah.
of it, I would love to just do that all day. Like genuinely go find outfits, curate outfits and like just come up with these cool unique things. Like I do love that. And if I had more time, I think my issue is time. And like I guess, if that comes to a point in my life where I'm able to do this full time, like I definitely would put more effort into it. But I think right now
That would be the life, right? Like you go to the gym, you know, you take care of yourself. You do a model shoot twice a week. You know,
Yeah.
you make like $6,000, and you live in an apartment and you just like shop for fucking cool clothes.
And like,
Like,
yeah.
is that what you're trying to go for?
Hey, maybe.
Like, I mean, like, you only live once. Like, go for it. You know, like,
No, I that's what I'm saying. Like, I do have a passion for it, and like, so if that does happen to be, but well, I'll take it as the time.
people are
comes.
living like that right now. So
Yeah,
it's possible.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sales, isn't it? Just wake up, go to the gym.
What I do.
Yeah.
No, it's
yeah,
obviously
yeah. It can,
no,
no,
but
it can
Jenna-
be. It
Jenna-
can be.
that is basically actors, models. There's very few other careers that just let you
No, there's not many.
work for a certain project and then be able to take the time to work on yourself and just kind of relax.
Unless you're just a
do your own
really
thing.
successful consultant or gig person. Like, that's what they are, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's what it is, right? An actor is just working a gig,
Yeah,
a gig
a gig.
that could span.
You could be a
couple
business
months
consultant, but like to get there, you have to go through 20 years of business.
of business and experience.
And you could be like a Jonathan. You just like get contracted to go to this plant for 4 days, and you do a thing, and you get paid like a whole month's salary.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that's not bad either, but that's more in your 50s.
In that
It would
that
take-
field,
yeah,
you need
yeah.
the experience, or you can just be one of those like business gods, like those 30-year-olds. But you have to be super successful, super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean it's not easy out there to get the
to get to that
lifestyle.
stage. Yeah,
Yeah, and to get the lifestyle you want and dream of, it's hard to be. It takes a lot of hard work, a little bit of luck,
yeah.
and
I think patience,
It takes
what you have to have.
patience is not all though.
No. You have to have a goal and like work towards it actively.
Yeah,
But I find in my journey, in my process, is a lot of the times I'm like, why aren't I there yet? And I would get upset at myself and like doubt myself. And it's just like, wait, no, like I'm actually doing all the right things. Like, so I feel like when you do have more patience with yourself, I don't know, I feel like that works too. Because you could also self-destruct.
personally, I'm like a little more sadistically like hard on myself. So like I'm just like, why like I know in my heart that I can do more. So whenever I'm having that moment where I'm like, why am I not where I wanted to be? I'm like, because I didn't fucking work hard enough. I should have done more. And I'm in my head telling myself, maybe it's too hard, right? Maybe I'm being way too hard on myself. It's not very kind. But like, and I think I am, and I think we're all working hard on a regular basis. But what I tell myself or what I believe in my heart is that like, I know, because I do know,
Okay,
I could have put
so-
another 20, 30% in. I could have put maybe even double the effort in sometimes. And I know I didn't do that. So I'm like, well, that's why.
yeah, and that's a healthy. It depends how hard you go on yourself, right? But I think that's better than feeling a sense of entitlement where you just, instead of thinking that way and trying to improve, or maybe you don't even improve, but at least you think that way, right? Which to a certain extent must like help the situation out a little bit, right? It's better to have that than to feel a sense of entitlement where it's like, I should already be here. Like, why hasn't it already gotten here?
Yeah.
The
get
world
upset.
is against me.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. This is that. I feel there's a lot of people out there that think that way, and generally it's just better to think that you could just put more work in to get that outcome. And that's where
It's definitely
society,
better.
that's where society is going now, is that people feel entitled to certain things. They feel like things need to be handed to them, or not handed to them, but they come naturally
Yeah. Like, I went to
without
school and
any
like I
hard
should
work.
be making $100,000 a year. Like,
without any hard work.
Yeah.
Because there's so many examples of people who behind the scenes put in a lot of hard work, and then they just look at them and say, oh, I should be able to do that and get there. And they don't see the hard work, and they just think and groan about how they should be there rather than thinking about how can they get there and what kind of effort.
What
and
should I have
work.
done differently, or what can I do more, or what can I, whatever. Like, how do
Yeah,
I adjust? Like, it's on me. It's on, it's on us to make it. Like, it's not like it never just comes to you.
No, a 1,000%. Like, yeah, that's what I think is like for me, like it's, I think being hard on yourself is obviously a good thing to a certain extent, but being mean to yourself, like, okay, for example, like you don't want to tell yourself you're a piece of shit. Like, you have to reflect on yourself. Like, okay, yeah, I'm upset that I didn't work as hard for that one moment, but how am I going to change that so I can actually do it better next time?
Definitely has to be a balance. Like you can't just beat yourself up like remorselessly and just
Yeah,
like,
because some people do that.
and then just end up
Some
becoming
people do.
depressed.
Yeah.
Like, definitely not. No, it has to be a healthy amount, but you have to have that self-criticism.
Self-criticism.
You have to
yeah.
believe that it's on you,
Yeah.
because it is.
So I think an important thing to that topic is having goals and like realistic goals and like accomplishing them and then yeah, maybe you got to your goal and for some reason you don't feel like you're far enough or it doesn't feel like where you want it to be, but at least you have something to check off in that box and say, okay, now I'm at the next level. Like, how can I get to the next level now from here? But I think setting realistic goals, like even for me, like even being with a mother agency right now and like working with different photographers, like, like I'm like, oh, wow, like this is more than I could have ever imagined. Like, you know what I mean? Where I am at this point, like, so I'm like, I'm happy I'm here. But like, obviously now, how do I get to the next level? Right. Like, so.
Yeah, you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Put in the work. Otherwise, it's just you're just going to be stagnant.
Yeah. Most things in life aren't as easy as podcasting, What's interesting about podcasting is that every single episode we make is like buying a lottery ticket. Like, it's like every single one could be the jackpot. Like, it could be the one that goes viral. It could be the one that 10,000 people share, or some famous person actually listens to for some reason. It could be, or a clip, and then just shares it on their, like, repost it or whatever. Yeah. Like, every single podcast and every single piece of social media content you make is basically a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
every single time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it just takes one of those clips to just take off and bring an audience that
10x or 100x your subscribers like in 2 days.
Boom. Yeah.
And then it's just compounding. So like basically, I think if you just keep doing it consistently, eventually you have those moments, and then every time it 10x's or 100x's, it starts it accelerates your compound growth.
Yeah, it's all about consistency, I think.
Definitely.
in anything.
Generally, that's a life.
Yeah.
That's a life thing.
We talked about that in our last podcast. So it seems like a theme.
No, we're excited about podcasts, so
Yeah, I mean, this time around we got some cameras. I think we fixed up the setup a little bit. We've had some technical difficulties already that I think we're going to be able to iron out. But overall it's an interesting experience. Prepping for the podcast. Basically, we didn't see each other for maybe a few days.
Yeah.
And just built up that kind of. That banter or that kind of.
Banter.
And generally, we just have these conversations, and it's just interesting to add that different dimension of recording it and hoping that somebody might find it interesting.
Yeah, and it's just fun. This is the same conversation we would have had even without the cameras and the mics.
Yeah. That's what makes it cool. It's kind of like someone's getting an insight now onto like just what we talk about on the regular, because this is our normal conversation. Like, we're not doing anything special,
No, this is just a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad time to wrap it up, for our.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. We had like quite a bit of like technical difficulties in the middle there.
Yeah. And, but we'll try to put those together.
Next time we'll have a different setup.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So, I guess we'll peace out.
Yeah, peace out.
We'll work on the outro. See you guys. No Edits Podcast.